Hello everyone and welcome back to Dark Souls Easy Mode, episode 9, if I am correctly informed. So I noticed for the last two boss fights my main advice was really summon help. And there are some fights where I would definitely advise that. But it's not always going to be the go-to advice for any boss fight. It's not always about summoning help. There's some encounters where I would actively suggest not summoning help. And we'll get to those, but for now, a lot of these, well, these two, the last two bosses I did, the gargoyles and the butterfly. The gargoyles are noticeably tougher than anything you've encountered up to that point, because well, really because eventually there's two of them, and that makes the fight a lot harder. And that's why the game gave you the option of summoning two NPCs. Oh yeah, I haven't actually done this yet, so cool. There we go. Got the parry. I have not looted this area yet. It's good. Well, it's good that I'm here now and able to show it to you. So here you can find a halberd, which is a nice weapon to have. And down here is the dude to close the gate on you. He's a one-time spawn, by the way. And you do want this basement key. If you're not playing with a master key, you actually need it to progress through the game. Well, no, you don't absolutely need it, actually. And that wasn't a backstab because I was shielding too much, I believe. Now there's two guys above me shooting, but... There we go. If you stand underneath this bridge, then they tend to eventually drop down and try melee. As they are now doing. So you can either use ranged attacks yourself if you have any, or you can just basically dodge the crossbows and just run about, you know. Run up here, up these stairs, and just fight them melee, or you can just wait underneath the bridge and they'll drop down. It won't always be as fast as it was for me, though. Sometimes they take a long time before they decide to basically make it to you. I'll see how much damage I'm doing to the guy up on the tower now. See if he's worthwhile. See if it's worth it to try and get a kill on him. I'll just check that quickly. You can also parry him, but I'm not good on timing that, as you can see. Wow. 167, that's enough. I'll kill him now. What? What are you? Ouch. Ow. There you go. I have a sword. Yeah, the other guy kind of broke my game flow there a little. But hey. Titanite chunk, 800 souls. I believe in earlier unpatched versions of the game, from right here, you would be able to snipe the dragon as he was kind of sitting on his perch there. And I seem to recall that if you hit him with a single arrow, he would just fly off and kind of die randomly, and you would get 10,000 souls for the kill. I know I've seen that, but I'm not 100% certain that wasn't some sort of... there might have been more to that glitch than just sniping him from there. I'm just not sure. Ouch. Okay, the key I mentioned just now, the basement key, we'll be using that soonish. Actually, we'll be using that now. I don't want to fight these two guys. Oh dear. So remember how I couldn't get the dragon to come back? It's back! I wonder if I should show you the way to get that, sword. I mean, I did use the bonfire over there, so if I die it wouldn't be much of a hassle, and I don't really need to be human at the moment anyway, so let's try it. Maybe start running about... What? Please don't ask me how I survived that. Okay. Let's go for this bonfire down here. So that I can retry this if I need to. Chances are I'm going to die attempting to show you this, but it's fine. I think I ran forward a little too early last time I tried to do it. I'm not going to waste the pine resin though, I'll just kind of... We'll see if it works out without the pine resin. So first things first, run up, trigger the fires, and back down. 555 souls means everything has died that does die. Should I maybe switch to the Swinder? Should come down now. And then we run past, and there, that's what I meant. There, he gives you the perfect opportunity to get a swing in on him. And then we just leg it down the stairs. Switch back to a sword that's not as massively heavy. And reset him at the bonfire. Okay. So that's what I meant to show you, and with the pine resin, you wouldn't need a heavy weapon like the upgraded Swinder to get that tail cut. 2 or 3 swings with a lightning buffed, unupgraded starting weapon are enough to get the tail cut, basically. And as a reward you get the Drake Sword, which... notice it has no parameter bonuses, which means it doesn't scale with anything. But it has a high base damage of 200. If you look, that would put my right weapon 1 to a nice 200. Whereas, let's go two-handing this and then check the stats. It's 281 by two-handing this massive and already, for this point in the game, fully upgraded sword, which weighs 10 kilogram. With the Drake Sword I would have a weight of 6 and have not... I wouldn't actually be losing out on that much damage, so early game that weapon is incredibly powerful. Okay, let's see if I can make this. Probably not. I mean, I'll get... Oh, I did not get fire blasted. It's good. It's very good. And this is the door you open with the basement key, by the way. Do not jump down here. Use the ladder. If you don't use the ladder, this drop is fatal. Whee! Okay, so yeah, that's how you get the Drake Sword. It can be really, really helpful early game, so if you're really stuck against something like the Gargoyles, you can use that. I would still advise against it. I've seen people using it, and the problem is that it doesn't do any scaling, so it... I don't know, my phrasing was it teaches sloppy skills. It's kind of... The problem is, it doesn't offer you any of the usual means of upgrading yourself. So you can upgrade your strength as much as you like. It's not going to do more damage, and you don't really have access, or easy access at least, to the items, the upgrade material required to make it stronger. So, all in all, it gives you a really powerful damage ouch early game, but then it scales off weaker and weaker, and eventually you just reach a point where suddenly that super powerful sword that people told you to get because it makes the game so easy, suddenly it doesn't help anymore. It does lousy damage, and you've really never had to deal with where do I go to upgrade stuff, where do I get upgrade materials. You never had to deal with any of that because you were given this super sword. Okay, this door, by the way, requires the residence key. This won't open with the master key.
Brilliant.
And then you talk to this guy and you basically unlock him. And that means is next time we go back to Firelink, he'll be there, and he sells spells, so sorcery. And on that corpse in the room you've also find a catalyst, which is kind of like a wand. You use it to cast sorceries, basically. Should probably show you this section here. This is not as easy an encounter as it might look. These guys are not to be trifled with. I mean, they look kind of weak, right? They don't have any good armor. They're only carrying torches. But they are very, very dangerous. So don't underestimate them just because they look weak. They can wreck your shit. And frequently do. Their torches are actually very, very dangerous. So... bait an attack, block it, then counterattack. And your reward is a twin humanity, which is nice. Okay, now this upcoming section contains a bit of an ambush, but you can actually avoid that or make that a lot easier on yourself by standing in front of these gates. Oh, walls? No. Doors! And doing a jumping attack. Technically, you could probably do this with an R2, just a heavy attack, if your weapon is large enough. But there's enemies behind these doors, and a normal swing bounces off. But a jumping attack basically doesn't care. So, and you can basically have a damage hitbox that extends beyond the door and actually hits the enemies behind it. So that way you can kill these two guys before the trap actually triggers. Okay, if they're in this position, which you just saw, possibly. Come on, don't do silly things. Go on, show me this. They're trying to parry you. So again, you can attempt to go for a jumping attack. I mean, he moved, so I didn't hit him, but again, you can. And see, normally behind this door there would have been one. There's also a mail breaker, which is kind of a useless weapon. And behind this door there would have been one, so you would have had to fight 3 of them. And at least in this case you can avoid it. Sadly, there's another pretty much identical ambush where you can't do that, at least not as easily. I believe this next... oh yeah, by the way, just as you go down the stairs, wait here. There's a dog which has anchored onto you and slowly moving towards you. Wait for it to come to you so you don't trigger the dog and the ambush simultaneously. Here you go. Dog dead. tier. You can throw fireballs. If you're throwing them accurately, you can hit the... Ow, 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 ow. Ah, the blood loss killed me. Bleeding in this game is a kind of... Each swing builds up some bleeding from a weapon that, you know, has bleeding status, basically. And if the bleed meter is full, you just take a chunk of your health as damage instantly. And it tends to be a substantial chunk. It might well be 50-60%. So, yeah, these guys don't actually do much damage with their normal attacks. But the bleeding is actually quite bad. Wow. I might be dead here. I'm not. Good. Okay. Let's try that again. Yeah, I was being a bit careless there. I meant to kind of show you how poise works by showing you that I can attack them without being interrupted by their attacks. And it kind of worked. I mean, if you paid close attention, you might have noticed one or two of my swings going through uninterrupted. Sadly, they then bled me out. These dogs are a little silly, by the way, because of their movement AI. You can quite frequently manage to get them, well, quite frequently. Let's say occasionally. You can occasionally manage to get them, whoa. Okay, do something. Thank you. You can get them to jump into that fire and just kill themselves that way. Also works with these thieves on occasion. I think they're called Hollow Thieves, officially. And they're all linked, so you, second time around you can't get them separately. But note how again I managed to get an attack through, even though one of those guys hit me with their with a throwing knife, which would usually have interrupted me. And take a backstab. There we go. I'm about to unlock a shortcut, so it's not relevant that I'm using a bunch of Estus here. I just have this encounter left to deal with, basically, and then we'll be fine. Okay, once again, that dog all the way back there. You might not see it unless you're in full screen, but it's approaching me already. And no reason to make it hard on yourself. Just wait for the dog to come close. Kill it. And then deal with the undead thieves. I think they're called Hollow Thieves, or something along those lines anyway. I wonder. Hey look, that worked. There we go. That was nice. And now you're all dead. And there's a large soul of a lost undead here. There's also a second dog, so beware of him. And here we get the thief set. If you started out as the thief, you've already got all this stuff. And the target shield. The target shield has fairly weak defense. Wow, did not mean to press X there. Oh well. Let me show you the target shield. So it doesn't really block much damage. It's weaker than the Grass Crest shield in almost every respect, except for it's lighter. But it's very good for parrying attacks. And the way that works is, basically by using the target shield, you are able to get a successful parry from more of the enemy's attack animation. By the way, I've seen a lot of new players just instinctively notice... Ugh, why would I do that? Instinctively know that there's a trap here, with this guy standing behind the corner. So it seems that it's completely intuitive, or very intuitive for players at this point to know that there's a guy here. Again, you can probably get him through this corner by using a jumping attack, depending on how you aim it. But you can also just peek around the corner slightly and heal aggro, but this guy in the back won't. Okay, there's I think some sort of soul of a nameless soldier or something along those lines right here. Okay, large soul of a lost undead. Fair enough. And as I've explained, these are worth 400 souls now and 500 later on once you've gotten a certain NPC, so... Unless you really need them, wait until later. Also, right here, is a merchant. She sells all of these moss clumps, but I believe in limited amounts. Maybe not though, actually, by the looks of it. Thought she only sold limited blooming purples, but apparently not. Poison throwing knives, ugh, I have never used those. Dung pies, you can use them to cheese the next boss encounter, but it's a bit finicky and I've never done it myself. I'll tell you roughly how it works, but you'll need a lot of them to get the aiming right, basically. She sells charcoal pine resin, which is actually kind of nice. I'm going to buy 3 of those. I believe the amount of transient curses she sells is limited, but you don't need them. I see no reason why you'd ever want to buy those. Rotten pine resin, I have never used those either. I mean, I know what they do, they make your weapon poisonous, but I've never seen a useful situation where they might come in handy, basically. Homeward bones, she sells infinite of those, which is nice. Prism stones, she also sells infinite of those, but they're not very useful. The amount of humanity she sells is limited. She sells a purging stone for more than the guy in the cathedral. Twice as much, actually, by the looks of it. So best buy them there, once you're there. The useful stuff she sells are actually poison arrows, so I'm going to spend all my remaining souls to buy 79 poison arrows. There's a particularly nasty encounter quite a long way into the game. Well, a few areas from now. Maybe 2 or 3 in-game hours. And you can completely cheese that encounter using poison arrows, and I will do that. And I would suggest you do it as well. Okay, and as you've seen, we've just unlocked a shortcut all the way to Firelink. And that's obviously very, very nice. So I am going to rest at Firelink Shrine, and then I think I'll probably do the upcoming boss fight next episode. Oh yeah, by the way, this guy. La 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 la. If you have enough intelligence, he will now start selling you spells. Now my character has intelligence 9. I believe you need at least 10. So unlocking him is not very valuable unless you have at least some points in intelligence. But if you started out as the magician, you start out with 15 points, which is easily enough. And he will sell you some stronger spells than what you've already gotten as your starting spell. He also sells a few rings, but those are very expensive. So they cost 20,000 souls. One of them increases the duration of sorcery effects. The other increases the power of sorceries, so it makes them do more damage. For a mage character, they are very valuable rings, but as I said, 20,000 souls, so... Also, not the cheapest. By the way, as you just saw, I was able to parry that guy's jumping attack. Whereas enemies that parry are apparently incapable of parrying your jumping attacks. So, double standard, anyone? It's kind of a minor point. And it works in the player's favor anyway, so that's nice. And this upcoming boss fight, by the way, which I've decided to put one attempt into this episode, which I might die anyway, so if I die, if I don't get it first try, you'll see it next episode, basically. But, yeah, the wolf ring is kind of handy for that fight. Allows you to deal with the enemies in that encounter with relative ease. I believe if you walk really slowly towards this guy, you get the free backstab. Yes, you do. Oh wait, didn't mean to drink yet. Oh well. Okay, I lost a little bit of health there. I'm probably not completely full, but let's tell me, yeah, I lost 3 HP. That's fine. Okay, so what you can do, by the way, to make this fight easier, from somewhere around here, you can throw consumables over this wall and hit the boss basically from this from around this location anyway. It's a bit finicky, it's kind of precise from where you have to stand and throw them, but fire bombs work and dung pies work. I don't know what else works. I've never actually done it myself, but I know it's possible and you can completely cheese this fight that way. Okay, I'm actually going to equip some slightly heavier armor here. Yeah, this is probably the best I have. Wondering, yeah, I'm just going to use a pine resin, why not? And this is where the wolf ring comes in handy, because it allowed me just now to kill the dogs, even though they attacked me. You just want some poise for this fight, is my my advice. So, wolf ring, really handy. And definitely kill these dogs first, because they are a huge pain. Ouch, that'll hit me. Okay, I'm out of resin. You can also kind of cheese the fight by standing or just running up there, and then as you see, when he jumps down, he kind of gets a landing animation which slows him down. Ow. Timed that roll very poorly there. And you can also get plunging attacks from this, from that ledge up there. So yeah, definitely deal with the dogs first. If you don't want to get the wolf ring, another option is to basically, with the dog still alive, try to make it up here, which doesn't always work because they can block you. And then kill the dogs up there while Capra's kind of slowly walking around up the stairs to get to you. And then basically use some sort of piercing attack, or some straight attack, like the archer on the longsword, or something like a spear, to deal with the dogs, and then deal with Capra by himself. The difficulty of this fight is really the small arena that you have, and the fact that the dogs keep interrupting you. So that's why the Wolf Ring is so useful. It allows you to just swiftly deal with the dogs. Okay. That worked better than I expected, and it gives you the sewer key. So, yeah, I hope that was helpful to you. Oh yeah, and definitely go for upgraded weapons, obviously, at this point. Not using a +5 weapon is your own fault. So I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.